Hi, my name is Peter Werner, and you're watching The Working Director. Well, there was kind of two jobs that I got. One was very successful, and one was not so successful. There's a Buddhist phrase: "Victory is the cause for defeat, and defeat the cause for victory." So you have to be careful what you ask for, and you have to know that sometimes when you have a lot of heat, it's it's going to lead to a fire, and sometimes when it's very cold, you can actually develop something that will be a lifelong success. But at any rate, I was asked to do a music video. Was the first thing that I did, and that was actually great because it was small, 3 minutes, 4 minutes. And the way I got it is this producer who had seen In the Region of Ice, my short film, basically said, "Would you be interested in doing this?" And I said, "Of course." And he said, "Well, listen to the song and come up with a concept, and if we like it, then you'll do it." And the artist was Cat Stevens, and it was a song called "Remember the Days of the Old Schoolyard," and it was a great song. But I envision it as a little scenario where we'll have these kids playing, and we'll have a little kid who looks like Cat Stevens, and there was a duet for part of the song, and we'll have a little girl, and they'll sing the song, and then at the end of the song, we'll go back, and Cat Stevens will be in recording studio, and he'll go in, and there will be these same kids who have been playing, and it was a little concept, and so we went out and for 2 days, I think, and shot some stuff and went back to the editing room. But the lesson there actually was, I asked Steven to come to the editing room, and he said, "Oh, well, nobody's ever asked me to come to the editing room." "Well, I'd love to see what you think." So I showed him the editor's cut and my cut, and he looked at it once, and he said, "May I make some suggestions?" I said, "Sure. I may not be able to do them, but I'd love to hear them." And he gave me off the top of his head like about 15 suggestions about cut this at this point, not at this point, put this here, not here. And I said, I'll try them all. And I swear to you, we tried everyone, and everyone worked. And it was really like, okay, if you're a master of what you do, then you really can quickly look at another medium and understand the art of the other medium. So, and it also taught me to listen and be inclusive with the people who inspire the original, because even though you've changed it to another medium, there's something that they understand from where the original idea and passion came from. Then I was hired to do an episode of television. It was a very successful drama family show called Family, and it happened that one of the executive producers had seen my film and wanted to give me a break, and he called up the showrunner and said, "I'd like this kid to direct the last episode of the season." Well, little did I know that the former director who was planning to direct the last episode of the season was that showrunner. So he was basically told to bump himself and hire this kid out of AFI. I went and shadowed another director who was doing the show before me, but to be honest, it was like watching him shoot one scene until I got bored, and then I thought, okay, well, either I know what to do, or I'm not going to learn that much more by following him for the whole week. But I did feel fairly confident. I know that there's a game that some crews and cast play, which they call "Get the Guest." That means we have this, let's call him arrogant little know-it-all. I didn't feel like I was that arrogant, but from their perspective, I was definitely an outsider who had taken the job of their showrunner. And at one point, which was I think on the third day, I'd gotten through the first 2 days fine, and I felt, okay, this is a no-brainer, not a no-brainer, but this certainly isn't rocket science. Came back from lunch, and it was a scene with about 5 different people in it, which is more complicated. Obviously, you have to figure out the camera angles, and also what I had learned that I ought to do, although I didn't do it on my AFI film, but people said, be prepared, come in, know your shot. You know, you start on the couch, and then you walk over here, and the camera will pan over here, and then we'll do coverage, and then you both get up and go over here and come together, and stuff like that. And I have a hard time doing that. I mean, I'll do it, and then I'll think, okay, I got that, and then I'll think the next day I'll think about the same scene, and I'll do it differently, and then so I really have not found that that's a useful way to do it. It's much better to go into the situation with an idea, but not be locked into it, so that if the actor says, well, I'd like to get up and walk away, you don't go, oh, no, you can't do that, because it doesn't fit my shot. But on that day, I sort of was winging it, and the actors said, okay, tell us what to do. And I said, well, do this. Oh, I wouldn't do that. Okay, well, how about doing this? Oh, my character wouldn't do that. And it got to be quite loud in the sense that, I would never do that, to where everybody stopped on the whole set and was sort of watching this situation fall apart. And I'm quite shy, and in those situations I get quite flustered, and sweat breaks out, and my voice goes up, and I was just panic-stricken. I looked at the DP, who kind of went like that, and I realized nobody was going to help me, and I was really on my own, and I didn't know what the I was doing, excuse my expression. And it was a humiliating, horrible, searing experience that again made me think, I don't know, I'm not meant to be in this business, and I should, hightail it back to Vermont and become a therapist or do something like that. But, I got through it, I got over it, although I did say I'm never going to do episodic television again. And, in retrospect, it's very clear to spend a year and a half of your life on a 30-minute film that is totally your film, where you're working with your friends and the support of that kind of situation, and you can do it exactly the way you want, is very different from walking into a film set, and particularly a television set.